What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Jump Off. I am your host, KODX Factor, and I am here as part of the Game Night Lounge Media Network. And all the guests that appear on this show and future shows are part of the Game Night Lounge Media Network as well. So I want to welcome you guys to another fantastic episode of The Jump Off. And we are here today. We're gonna kind of make the show a little bit looser, a little bit fun. You know, we're gonna kind of talk about some game speculation and stuff that could happen later on, instead of stuff that's just kind of hitting right now. The only thing I really want to touch on that's kind of prevalent right now is the new Fortnite game mode that kind of ties in the Avengers Infinity War, with the use of Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet. And if anybody out there has not seen, you know, and I know this is kind of one-off. This is kind of like a video game show, and I know this is a little bit one-off. But anybody that hasn't seen the Avengers Infinity War, you need to go check it out. Excuse me. Kind of dealing with a cold, and as well as, you know, the springtime is, you know, the sinuses are really, really messed up. So that's why I was kind of off from doing the shows for like the past number of days, just kind of trying to get myself to where I can actually speak without hacking into a microphone. But again, if anybody has not seen the Avengers Infinity War, you have to go check it out. It was actually really, really worth playing, or not worth playing, but it was actually really, really worth watching. It's really, really worth checking out. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to review it. I'm not going to try to get into what happens, just due to the fact that, you know, there's so many spoilers. There's so many things going on about that movie. It's one of the number one movies in America, so I'm not going to go too deep into it because I really want you guys to check it out. But it ties into one of the biggest phenomenons in gaming right now, and that is Fortnite. If anybody doesn't know what Fortnite is, I don't even know if I have time to really go into depth of what it is. You can actually go back to our last show that we did, where I kind of talk at length and passionately as well about the genre of game that Fortnite, PUBG, and Radical Heights is. And I talk about the aspect of biting game formulas, or formulas that tend to work. We kind of touched on that last episode. So if you missed that episode, please go back and check it out. It's still up. You can just go back and download it. Check out what we had to say and our thoughts and opinions of Fortnite, PUBG, and Radical Heights. It was really a Radical Heights section where I was talking a lot about Radical Heights and some of the backlash it was getting early on, and some of the love that's been getting early on too, because it is one of those games now that is gaining momentum. And that's a good thing, because it opens up doors and avenues for licenses such as Disney and Marvel to come in and partner with games like these to offer gamers a unique thing to do, even if it is timely. It doesn't have to be permanent. You know, something timely, just like they're doing right now with the Thanos and Infinity War, and including the Infinity Gauntlet. It's just, you know, it's an aspect that keeps on bringing players back. So it really, really opens up the doors for a lot of different things that they can do. And I think it's kind of cool because it opens up, like I said, it gives more avenues to different things, such as including characters or items from movies or something like that of a popular medium to be included in their games. And this type of genre of game makes it easy to do that. It's harder to do it in a game where it's very, very multiplayer heavy, such as like a Gears or Call of Duty or something like that. It's not as easy. But when you have an open world, free-for-all, battle royale type system, it's easier to kind of implement gameplay modes like this. And I think it's kind of cool how they're doing it with, you know, to kind of start things off, or at least get the ball rolling in that direction with the Avengers and the the release of Thanos. So very, very much, you know, very high praise to Epic Games for including this, to getting this license, to making this happen. It is, you know, some people may look at this and be like, you know, it's not that big of a deal. It's just, it's a timely event where you can have Thanos in the game. This is actually a big deal. Maybe not to some, but to a lot of people, including gamers, especially fans of this genre. It's a big deal. Just because and not because of just what it is, and not because it's based off of one of the most popular movies in America, well, the world for that matter. But just for the possibilities, for something that could happen later on down the line, things that could transpire because of this. So things that can go on for this genre and different things that they can do in the future make it so entertaining just to think. What if we included this inside of our battle royale system? Let's look ahead. Look at what movies are coming out here in the future, or TV shows. You got The Gifted is doing really, really well. Wouldn't it be cool to kind of see some superpowers from like X-Men inside there? Or think about this: Game of Thrones is coming back next summer. Can you imagine like a Game of Thrones tie-in to a game such as like a battle royale game? I mean, think about something like that. Or The Walking Dead. Well, they're kind of doing that now with H1Z1 kind of getting like the battle royale treatment, and was it not Dead by Daylight? Dead by Daylight? Dead by Daylight. No, it's not. It's not Dead by Daylight. It's the it's one of those survival zombie games that they added the battle royale mode to, which I can kind of see happening and could be entertaining if they did it right. Maybe the new Walking Dead game that comes out in the future will have that as well. And if any of you guys have not seen the trailers for that new Walking Dead title, you need to check that out. That's actually going to be really, really cool. Even though Walking Dead games have not fared very well as a video game format or video game medium, except for the Telltale games. The Telltale games have been phenomenal to me, personally. I'm a huge fan of the Telltale series. But like the other Walking Dead games that they had, especially the Walking Dead, the one that featured like Daryl, like a young Daryl, and they released it like across all platforms, that was boo-boo. So, I mean, it hasn't fared the best when it comes to video game releases. So that's why I'm really, really interested to see where this new take from this. If you can look up the name of the studio for me, that'd be great. From the new Walking Dead game, the Overkill. Overkill's The Walking Dead. That's it. So and that comes out this fall. I'm actually really looking forward to what that one's going to entail or have with it. So because I'm a huge fan of the series, so I'm actually kind of looking forward to that as well. But game modes like that can make that genre really, really exciting and keep it fresh, keep players coming back. And that's kind of what you need, especially if you're going with a format where you're going free to play like Fortnite is. PUBG's not, you still have to pay for it. And Radical Heights is free, so that, I mean, they're kind of following that same pathway to success. As long as they keep making it fresh, bringing in new things, get new game modes, time game modes, stuff like that to kind of keep it fresh, I think could service that genre very, very well. And I think, like I said, to kind of kick it off with the Avengers, fresh off the release of the new movie that's like big right now, absolutely. No brainer. It's a huge thing, so it's not something that's just kind of mediocre. You put it off to the side. It's a big deal. So I'm just looking forward to it. Hoping more things come out about that. So I'm really looking forward to it. I kind of wanted to also talk about real quick to kind of go into towards the end of this episode, and I'll start it now. Is E3 is a little over a month. We're almost right at a month now away. E3, if anybody doesn't know, is the Electronics Expo. It's one of the conventions that all your video game manufacturers, your video game publishers, your game designers, your game studios collectively get together with the press, and it's now a public event, which I'm not the biggest fan of it being a public event. I still think it should be a press-only event. Not just because, I could have access myself, but just because it really is for the press. The press is the ones getting that exciting news out there to the fans. Yeah, make it accessible to where people can watch it on, live streams or TV. But to open it up to the entire week, open the fans, I think was a mistake. I think they should have left it to where the press had the first 4-day access and given like the last 2 or 3 days access to the fans. That I'm okay with. But the entire week open to the public, I'm not the biggest fan of that. Excuse me. I think the convention loses a little bit of luster when it does that, or when it goes that way. So I'm kind of along the lines of people's opinions where I think it should be pretty press only for at least the beginning showcases. But anywho, looking ahead, and this is just today's news as well, that Walmart, one of the, I won't say the biggest retailer of video games, because to me it's honestly not. I mean, you have GameStop, I think, is still ahead of it. Amazon's like your number one. And then you got Best Buy that is pacing right there along GameStop right now. But Walmart Canada, had put up a number of possible games. No release dates given for any of these titles, by the way. So I'm going to kind of go through it. Just some of the listings that they outed by accident. And for anybody who doesn't know, when a retailer does this, such as Amazon, GameStop, Walmart, Best Buy, when they put a listing online, it's really a placeholder. So they know there's something there. So they put a placeholder in there, just so people can go in the day that it's announced and pre-order the game. They don't have to wait around, to get release date information or cover arts or anything like that. They put placeholder games with placeholder dates, so you can go in and start pre-ordering your copies today, or at least at the time it's announced. But Walmart put up a whole bunch of listings for games that have not been announced yet, officially announced yet. They've been talked about, but not officially announced yet. My guess is we'll probably hear about these games at E3, which I'll save for our big E3 episode. Because we're going to do a lot of coverage pre-E3, and we're going to do a lot of coverage during E3. But just to kind of go over what some of the games that Walmart in Canada had accidentally put up on their online site is Just Cause 4, which I can see that. Gears of War 5, which would be, we all knew there was going to be another Gears of War 5, there was going to be a Gears of War 5. I didn't think it would be this year. I thought that they would put out at least, I thought they would at least had put Halo out before Gears 5. But, Halo, the last Halo was so bad that I guess they had to kind of take their sweet time on this next one. And we all knew that there was talk of a new Splinter Cell game coming out as well. So they accidentally put up a listing for Splinter Cell, which is the second time a major retailer has accidentally leaked this online. Amazon also did the same thing. But Walmart Canada has just released that a new Splinter Cell game is on the way from Ubisoft, which we kind of saw coming because it's been a long time since we've seen a new addition to that franchise. Not to mention they included a small cameo inside of Ghost Recon Wildlands game mission that included him. So I can kind of see that coming, which to me, personally really, really excited for. Just because I've been waiting for a new Splinter Cell game for a very, very long time. They also listed Rage 2, which is kind of a surprise to me because I didn't think the original Rage did that well that it really warranted a second one. I know they had talked about it for years, but and anybody who doesn't know, Rage was a first-person shooter, post-apocalyptic game that was put out by Bethesda, I think. Yeah, I think it was Bethesda that put out the original Rage. But Rage 2 apparently is on the way. The Lego DC Villains, that could be cool, but it's not really a shocker. We kind of knew that something like that was going to happen. Borderlands 3, which that's been rumored for quite a while. they've been talking and hinting at a Borderlands 3 for quite a while. So I mean, it's not really a big surprise. I would love to see it at the show. The rumor I was hearing is that it was going to be showcased at the Xbox press conference, but we'll have to wait and see. So I think a Borderlands 3 would actually be very, very plausible. It'd be interesting. I don't think it'd be this year. I bet you Borderlands 3 will be a title that we see next year. But I believe Splinter Cell we'll see this year. I believe we'll see. I don't even think we'll see Gears this year. Although they could surprise me and say it's going to come out this fall. But I'd be very surprised if that comes out this year. Rage 2 I can see coming out this year. They also outed Forza Horizon 5, which, okay, I can see that. Dragon Quest 2, that could be interesting to see. And that's all that I see that they had listed for, at least for Walmart Canada. So I don't see anything else really. I mean, Beyond Good and Evil 2, we knew. NBA 2K19, that was listed on there. We kind of knew that was already been announced. The Final Fantasy VII remake is listed, which is kind of surprising to me because I didn't think they had that listed yet, which means they must be getting close to narrowing down a release date for that thing. Maybe they have a release date for it finally. Who knows? A new Assassin's Creed apparently on the way. A game called Insurgents Sandstorm. I guess the new Destiny expansion is going to be announced as well. Just Cause, The Division 2, which they did, they didn't officially announce it, but they did announce that it's actually in the works and will be at E3. I don't see that coming out this year. That may be a spring of next year. Splinter Cell I see this year. Dragon Quest maybe. Lego DC Villains, yes. Rage 2, yes. Borderlands 3, no. Gears, no. Forza, yes. Lego DC Villains, yes. Those I see. But we'll have to wait and see on the other one and see what they might be cooking up. So, I'm looking forward to E3. I hope there's a lot that's going to happen. I'm not going to go fully into the E3 predictions right now. I think I'm going to wait till it gets a little bit closer to June before we do that. But I'm curious as to everybody's thoughts and opinions on the show itself. Not so much the stuff that could get announced or that's out there. But what are your opinions on it? Like, what do you think of the show itself as a whole? Is it something that you would look forward to every single year? And I know us as gamers, us being in the industry, E3 is one of those times that we just strongly look forward to. We want to see it every year. We're very interested to see what developers have to say. We're very interested to see what publishers have to say, what could be coming down the pipeline for the industry as a whole. It's a lot to be excited for. But as an average fan or consumer, this is where my question lies. Are you excited about sitting back and watching E3? Are you excited to find out what the industry has? Does the show, is the show entertaining? Is it fun to watch? Has it gotten a little bit out of control? I've been watching E3 since 2002 maybe? Maybe about 2002 when I started watching E3. And even then it wasn't, live streamed. There was no such thing as live stream then. Man, that makes me sound really, really old. There's no such thing as live stream then. You had to watch this thing on DVD. They put out DVDs. DVDs, folks, of the show. I remember it being like a two to three disc set that you would get of the showcases. Either that or you were in attendance. And to go in attendance was a chore. I mean, you had to prove your press credentials, which essentially you had to do. At least up until like the last couple of years, you didn't have to do that because they opened it up. But as an average consumer, are you excited? Is there something? Because nowadays, and here's the problem. To me, anyhow, the excitement for what is going to be showed has kind of gone by the wayside. Why? People started putting trailers out for their games before the show. I'm telling you right now, wait till a week before E3, and you're going to start seeing trailers for games that had not been announced yet. The pre-E3 hype, as some like to call it. And we got a worldwide exclusive trailer for you now. Boom, game announcement. Worldwide exclusive, boom, game announcement. Another worldwide exclusive, boom, game announcement. We get so many announcements for titles prior to the week prior to E3. Nothing's sacred for the show anymore. I miss that. I miss that big wow moment. And E3 every year gives me like one, maybe two of those moments. The one year that they announced God of War, the new God of War we just got last month. When they announced that for the first time at E3, that was a big wow moment. Last year's Beyond Good and Evil 2 was a huge wow moment. But honestly, that's it. E3 used to be nothing but wow moment after wow moment. It's not like that anymore. Everything has been dumbed down to where we want to make it appealing to fans. Everything's got to be playable on the show floor, which I'm okay with. If you have a game coming out this year, you should have some sort of a demo out on the show floor for people to play. But if you're, I miss the big showcases that Sony, Nintendo doesn't even do showcases no more. They do Nintendo Directs, pre-recorded show that they showcase the week of E3. Microsoft and Sony still go big. They still hold big press conferences, and it was always those three big ones. What is the day of Microsoft's? What is the day of Sony's? And what is the day of Nintendo's? Now, it's Microsoft, Sony, Bethesda. All these publishers now have their own press conference. EA, Ubisoft, Bethesda. All these publishers now have their own showcase. Where before it used to be Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, and those publishers would have to choose which essentially hardware provider they wanted to kind of side with to showcase their game off with. I kind of miss that too. I don't need an Ubisoft show. I don't need an EA show, which honestly, except for that big announcement last year, the Ubisoft show every year has sucked. EA's is not even that great. Bethesda's is always kind of interesting. It's unique. It's not drawn out. It's not long. They really get right to the point. Square Enix, same way. But I mean, all these publishers now need their own showcase. Can't they work out with the actual game manufacturers on who wants to show what, when, and where? I think that would work out so much better if they go back to that way of doing things. But they haven't. I think that's missing from the show. That's one of the things I would like to see come back. That and going back to a press-only event until maybe the last day or two. But for the most part, comment. Let me know. Send me a DM on Twitter. Let me know what your thoughts are. Is the show entertaining for you? Do you care about it? Is it still as exciting for you now as it was 10 years ago? Is there problems with the showcase? What would you do to fix it? Let me know. I'm letting you know what I would do. things I would do to go back to fix it, things I miss about it, things that are that are cool now, and some of the things that I think the show is missing. I'd like to know your thoughts on it. And so definitely let me know, especially before we get into our big E3 show. We're going to do one prior to the show. We're also going to do one during the show and probably post-show. So that way we can get all of our E3 in and out of our systems. I'm sure there's going to be a lot to cover then. But again, I hope everybody enjoyed this show. I wanted to, like I said, kind of be brief and kind of talk a little bit about the Fortnite events and the changes to the genre that I think could work really, really well, that tie into the Avengers crossover that they did with Fortnite. And I wanted to lay out some of the things I saw about E3 today. Some of the early game announcements or the game leaks. Again, which is another problem with E3. Too many leaks. There never used to be this problem. Now there is. Thank you, social media. Thanks for the amount of access people have online and what they share. It's much easier to get stuff out there now. But I hope everybody liked. If you enjoyed what you listen to, please make sure you subscribe to the RSS feed. Make sure you like us or follow us on Twitter. We are at the Game Night Lounge. You can follow me personally at KODX Factor on Twitter. We are on Facebook at the Game Night Lounge. We are on YouTube at the Game Night Lounge, where you can find this podcast as well as all of our Let's Play walkthroughs, our Let's Play just random videos. Me and my son have our own show called The Dynamic Duo that airs. We try to do it every weekend. Some weekends we just can't get to it, but we try to do it every weekend. We pick a lot of the kid-friendly games, and me and my son sit down and we play it. You can find us on our website at theGameNightLounge.wordpress.com. Please make sure you follow us there as well. If you like what you've seen, please make sure you send us a message. Send us a like us on iTunes or Google Play, whichever you're listening to us through. If you like what you hear, please make sure you let us know. Send us a DM. Send us a message on Twitter or however social media medium works best for you. And again, I am KODX Factor. This is The Jump Off. All the guests that appear on this show and future shows are part of the Game Night Lounge Media Network, and this show is brought to you in part by the Game Night Lounge Media Network and all of our friends over at the Game Night Lounge. I am KODX Factor, and until our next episode, everybody, game on.